how's it going? Good to see you all again. Thanks for tuning in. So, I just got back from the US, did that event that I've been talking about over the last few weeks. And we had to sign NDAs and all sorts, so we're not allowed to talk about it too much. It's part of the whole process. But one of the things that was pretty interesting was how often I was scared to do shit. And like, I knew it was going to be tough, but it was a little bit tougher than I actually anticipated. And there was a number of occasions where I was like, shit, I don't know if I can do this, man. And you let that little internal voice kind of say, I don't know if you've got this in you, pal. Like, this is a big ask. There's a serious amount of risk versus reward here. Is it worth it, kind of thing? And yeah, this is when like the fear kicked in a little bit. And it's interesting to see how you react to that fear, because it's quite easy to just go, nah, boom, I'm done, before you even try. And there was a couple of occasions where I was on the fence and I was like, shit, dude, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, it's hard to explain without being able to tell you what the events were and what the activities were. But there was a number of occasions where I was like, nah, fuck this, dude. Like, there's no ways I can do this. Like, this is way too hardcore. And then, like, I had this little internal dialogue going on where I was like, do you know what? Worst case scenario, you try, you fail, and you get kicked out, or you quit, or whatever. But at least have a go, have a try, attempt it, and see what happens. And it was in the attempts that you actually realize, holy shit, I can do this. Like, I can step out of my comfort zone, and it's not actually as bad as I thought that it would be, if that makes sense. So like, the actual fear of doing it was worse than the actual act of doing it, if that makes sense. So one of the biggest takeaways that I had from this whole thing was that, like, the thought is way worse than the actual act of doing something. So the thought of, like, I mean, I ice bath all the time, right? So I can use that as an example. The thought of getting in the ice bath is always worse than the act of actually being in there. Like, once you get in and you get past that initial 10 seconds or 15 seconds of, holy shit, this is fucking cold, oh my god, this is cold. And then you calm your breathing down, you calm your mind, and you're just like, okay, cool, I'm here now. Let's just see this through. And that's exactly what happened on multiple occasions throughout this event, where it was like, shit, man, this is some scary shit. Risk versus reward ratio, I don't know if it's there. Like, fucking, this could go really, really wrong. And all of these little internal dialogues are going on in your head, and you're kind of like, maybe I should just hit the eject button now and save myself, because, you know, like, fuck, worst case scenario, I fucking die, I could die. And like, you blow it up way beyond wherever it realistically is in your brain. But it's that self-preservation that kicks in, and it's like, nah, pal, this is outside of that realm of normal for you. This is like sitting over here somewhere, and that's way beyond anything that you're used to. So let's not even try, man. Let's not even do this. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just avoid this at all costs, and let's just chill out and hit the eject button and be safe. And it's only in actually sort of stepping outside of that comfort zone that you realize, holy shit, actually, again, this is not as bad as I thought. And also, all of a sudden, let's say this is your comfort zone here, right? This little circle. All of a sudden, your comfort zone becomes this big, and then it's this big, and then it's this big. And now, all of a sudden, I'm like, my risk tolerance has gone through the roof, because I'm like, actually, I can handle this. I can handle a lot more than I actually gave myself credit. And it's only by stepping outside of your comfort zone and going beyond what you think is your limit or what's your acceptable risk that you then start seeing how much more you have to give and how much further you can push yourself, and just how safe you've been playing. Like, I can't believe I've been playing so safe for so long. Like, what I thought was risk, is not even close to being a risk taker, is not even close to stepping outside of what was my comfort zone until now. Now all of a sudden someone's like, yeah, go and jump out of a plane. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it, let's see what happens. And it's obviously calculated risks. Like, I'm not about to go, let me get blindfolded and walk into the fucking streets because my risk tolerance is through the roof. No, I'm not an idiot. Like, you need to play up your risk versus rewards. But at the same time, like, if someone says, hey, there's an opportunity for you to go skydiving tomorrow, I'm going, yeah, sure, why not? Risk versus reward, well, the likelihood of me dying skydiving is not that high, but the likelihood of me stepping outside of my comfort zone and actually gaining a shit ton more from the experience is through the roof. So skydiving would be an option, bungee jumping would be an option. All of these sort of extreme sports that most people shy away from because they've got all these phobias, when you actually get to doing it, it's way less scary and way less intimidating. And again, like, if I could tell you more about sort of the activities, this would be a hell of a lot easier to explain. But the point is that whatever you think your limitations are, do yourself a favor and just step outside of them, even if it's just a little bit. So if you're scared of heights, I don't know, go and do one of those fucking monkey things in the forest where they have those, you like up in the trees and you're running around and all of this shit. Do something like that. Step outside of that comfort zone and see just how unrealistic that fear is and just how limiting you've been because of it. Because the reality is, like, once you start breaking the limitations of there, you then start being able to take on more risk in other aspects of your life. And all of a sudden, the risk of, or the fear of having that conversation at work becomes less. And the fear of, I don't know, whatever. It all of a sudden you think, what am I scared of? Worst case scenario, I've done something way worse. Like now, a few weeks ago I talked about the fact that I was no longer working in the bank and that I had six-figure income getting washed away and I wasn't that stressed about it. And now I'm even less stressed about it because I'm like, that is so menial in comparison to what I've had to deal with while I was in the US, that like I'm without a doubt 100% positive that there's something much bigger on the horizon for me and there's something that I'm going to enjoy a hell of a lot more. Like, here's the reality of the whole thing, right? While we were in the US doing this thing, there was a time where, like, fuck man, I was literally, my elbows, my knees, everything was fucking bloodied. I was sweating profusely. I don't even know, I might have even been halfway crying. I don't know, like, I was in so much pain and I was so tired and just so fucked that I was actually tempted to quit. I really was. I was thinking like, shit dude, I don't know if I've got any more in me. I don't know if I can do this for much longer. Like I'm banging trouble here. But at that point,
they said we were never gonna make it. They said that we were dead. Well, that's funny, 'cause right now I feel so alive, even though I'm barely breathing. I'm going on alone and I'll be fine.
I was saying to myself, like, I would still rather be here in this much pain, covered in this much blood, sweating profusely, borderline having a fucking, what felt like a heart attack, than be back at my desk in London working for the bank. And it was at that moment that I was like, holy shit, I'm so far off the path that I should be that I can't go back to London and go back to what I was doing. It just can't happen. Like, I just can't do it. There's more to life than wasting my time sat at a desk doing a job that I hate, feeling unfulfilled, unsatisfied, and just not interested in, like, fucking life. Like, I literally, it's been a good few months now where I've woken up and thought, are you shitting me? I've got to do this shit again? Like, fuck man, come on. There's more to life than this. And it wasn't until I was in the US, fucking bleeding, sweating, halfway dead, And I was like, I would rather be here bleeding out, dying, than be back at my desk. And that's when the penny dropped for me, and I was like, right, that's it. Go back. So, shut down. So, just don't do this shit anymore. So, there's a high probability that I'm going to shut down my business. The consulting is done. I can't be consulting for banks anymore. It just doesn't give me any kind of purpose, doesn't give me any kind of fulfillment. And yeah, there's a lot of risk there. I am scared because I don't know what will be the outcome of that and where to from here. But there's always work for good people and hard workers. And I firmly believe that I fit into that bucket or that little realm. And now that I know that banking is not for me, I can 100% focus on something else. None of this would have been possible if I hadn't stepped out of that comfort zone, if I hadn't confronted some of those fears and just said, you know what, like, at least try, at least have a go. Because the reality is, yeah, you might fail, but shit, dude, imagine if you don't. What if you succeed? What if it's not actually as bad as you thought? And what if you just do a pretty good job and you smash it? And all of a sudden that once limiting belief is now shattered because you've just fucking smashed it to bits. And it's like this whole new wave of confidence hits you, and this whole new feeling of being able to dominate the shit out of anything just overcomes you, and you ride this wave of like, fuck, I'm pretty badass. Like I'm pretty hardcore. Like I can take on a hell of a lot more than I thought that I could. I can handle a lot more than I thought that I could. And now all of a sudden, when I look back on things, I'm like, damn, I'm almost pissed off at myself for not having done something like this sooner and shattered those limiting beliefs even sooner. But it's like one of those things that there's nothing I can do about it, right? I can't rewind the clock. I can't go back in time to sort this out, or be like, okay, well, you know, let's go back in history and fix this and redo anything. So what I can do is I can make sure that from this point forward, I don't allow those limiting beliefs to creep back in and to start kind of pissing me off and start holding me back again. So yeah, that's that. I'm getting a little bit of a taste and a bit of a flavor for this risk-based thing, and just stepping outside of the comfort zone and just not settling. Like it's too easy to settle, and I'm too young to do that shit. Like the reality is I don't have kids or anything to look after, so I'm at that stage in life where I can take on a lot more risk than I have been doing. I've been playing it far too safe, and now it's just time to go. Do you know what? Let's just go. Let's have a bit of fun here. Let's take a bit of a risk, and if you fall on your ass, so what? Like, learning curve. Then you know where your new limitation is. But right now, I'm so comfortable just sitting in this fucking range here that it's kind of boring, and I don't want to live a boring life. I don't want to be average. I refuse to be average. So why have I been settling for it? Why have I been scared to step out of that zone? Because of fear. And it's only once someone actually goes, hey, fuck you, your fears are bullshit, and they push you beyond it, which is what happened in the US. Like, they pushed us so far beyond what we thought our limitations were, that now I question everything. Like, it's literally like, is this actually a limitation? Is this actually not possible, or am I just bullshitting myself to remain in a comfort zone of sorts? So, long story short, just step outside of that comfort zone a little bit. Face that fear and just see how capable you truly are. Because you might think that it's a limitation, but until you face it and overcome it, you'll then go, oh damn, actually that wasn't as bad as I thought, or that wasn't as hard as I thought. Like, if you're scared of heights, for instance, I mean, jump out of a plane. Like, chances of you croaking, slim to nothing. So just have some fun with it, man. Like, those limiting beliefs are exactly that. They're beliefs, and they can be broken, they can be shattered. if you are prepared to step out of that comfort zone and take on a little bit more risk than what you have been doing, you'll realize that, holy shit, I'm capable of so much more. And you'll probably be in a similar position to where I am now, where you're kind of pissed off at yourself for playing it safe for so long. But that's a good thing, because like you can say, well, now I know what safe looks like. Let's push the boundaries. Let's get that comfort zone getting a bit bigger. Let's see what happens when we step outside of it. Because what's the worst case scenario? You fall on your ass, you quit, you say, hang on, no, this is too much, and you go back into that comfort zone. So be it. But at least you tested the barriers and you kind of said, okay, now that I know that this is actually my limit, you can play within that range. But if you're just guessing that this will be your limit and you've never really tested it or pushed it, like you are so far beyond, below where you think you are. It's kind of sad. So, all in all, just have some fun with it. Push beyond that comfort zone. Just do whatever you think your limitations are. Have a bit of fun. Push those boundaries and see just how wrong you are about how incapable you truly are, because chances are you can achieve and do a lot more than you think that you can. So that's today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed today. As usual, please hit that like button if you liked today's video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Follow me on Instagram, it'll be in the bottom right corner. And yeah, all in all, it was great seeing you, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Cheers for now.
Why did darkness come? I felt my body break, my heart give up. Why did darkness come? I felt the lightning shake me into hell. Why did darkness come? I wanna stay in here where I feel known. Why did darkness come? Something keeps waking me up. Why did darkness come?